Hey everyone, welcome to the 54th episode of Podcast Demastered. I'm Chelsea and I'm here with Wade. Wow, this has been a crazy month. I feel like this is like the month of games. We have had so many game announcements, game shows, there's lots of stuff in the media, good or bad. Yes, definitely good or bad. I mean, even recently, as in a couple days ago, for us, we saw a lot of game studios, I believe, speak up, speak for their employees, for as a collective voice, for their desire for a better future for their employees and communities during this time. So it's great to hear from so many studios speaking out for that. And then
doing what they can.
So true. And then, I mean, on a little bit lighter note, there's a game that both Wade and I have just started playing that came out this past week.
Coincidentally.
Yes. But very appropriate that we both started playing it.
Of course. It was an easy one.
Yes. And that game is Disney's Mirrorverse.
So yeah, just it's like Kingdom Hearts, but without the Final Fantasy.
Yep.
Just putting all the characters in together, but like giving them super badass costumes.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just kicking butt together, and it's one of those like freemium kind of gacha-y games.
Yep.
But it's a lot of fun, like to see these characters like looking their best and with like such cool powers and stuff that represent them as a character. Do you have a favorite character so far?
So far, I mean, the characters that I actually play as, I think Mulan's probably my favorite. You can't go wrong with Mulan.
Oh my gosh, she looks so cool though.
Mm-hmm.
How could you not like Mulan?
And she's already like super amazing as she is as a character, and then you just put her in this game and give her like crazy armor and really cool weapons. So
right,
it's a good time.
It is.
Well, who's your favorite right now?
Oh, I don't know. It's kind of difficult to pick one. Like, I was using Belle as my healer,
Mm-hmm.
and then I switched her out for a hero, like from Big Hero 6. And he does this really cool thing where he'll, like, tether himself to the rest of your party, like, with his major attack. And then while you're tethered to them, like, he does, like, a healing per second thing with them. But also, like, if you upgrade his skills, he'll give them, like, defense boosts and attack boosts.
Nice.
And other cool things, like, as long as they're tethered together. So it's kind of cool. I found, though, that, like, a lot of enemies, like, go for him, though. Like, for Belle, like, I guess, like, for Belle, she would, like, kind of stay in the back and just, like, blast people with her staff. And while Hero does the same thing, he hangs out in the back and, like, shoots people with his, like, energy blasters. But, like, I found that, like, they beat up on Hero more than they beat up on Belle. Like, that's why I have Baymax. You're supposed to beat up on Baymax and leave Hero alone.
Yeah. I have Sully as my tank right now, and yeah, they're all just attacking Mulan. I'm like, are you kidding me? Sully's right there, in on the action. Go after him.
Like, that's his job.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Oh, man. Such a fun... So this is like the game I play in between when I continue playing Hogwarts Mystery. Then I go back to this game. But this game would also be amazing on console. Maybe they'll eventually decide something like that. It's just... It plays surprisingly well for a mobile game. And I was actually surprised that you actually get to, like, move the characters and use their attacks and abilities.
Yeah, the action... Like, these, like, action-y kind of gacha games where, like, you can, like, move people around and you have, like, your like, attack side and your movement and stuff. I'm, like, really bad at those. Like, really bad at those. I can't do, like, touch screen, like, controls. I need buttons to press. So I've played this game pretty much strictly on auto this whole time. Because I can't, like... my party will be in shambles if I have to control them, so... I'll just let the computer do it for me.
That works too. Yeah, it's really weird. Yeah, just playing with a touchscreen and then having it be your controller. It works well at some times, but I think it also could just be fun to watch and play it on auto. So it's actually cool that they give you the option of how you want to play the story.
Mm-hmm. That's what I do. I just do the auto thing and then shout at Gaston when he's not attacking the right people. Because they'll, like, auto-target, too. Mm-hmm. It's like, that guy has, like, 1 HP left. Freaking kill him. He's beating up on Hero again. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Oh man, but it's definitely a fun, enjoyable thing. Definitely for Kingdom Hearts fans, a good way to pass the time.
Absolutely. I hope it stays that way though. So many gacha games, like I'll play for a week, and just be over it. Just like, ugh, like what a grind.
Yeah.
Who's got time for that?
Well, I look forward to the future of this game since it just came out last week, so I hope it has a little bit more of a lifespan to it.
Let's hope so.
Yes.
Just too many characters to pick from, so there's that.
Yeah. Well, should we move on to this is a big jam-packed episode, I feel like, all about games, all about these game announcements. We're definitely not going to cover every single game show, game announcement. That would just take way too long. And
for real.
Honestly, to me, some of those things aren't even worth talking about. I'll just throw that hot take out right now.
I don't think it's a hot take this year. It was pretty...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 2 episodes ago, Wade and I discussed the state of play, and that was almost kind of like the kickoff in a way, even though the Summer Game Fest is supposed to be like the actual kickoff of all these game shows. Well, that happened, and then we moved on.
It was like, what, 2 or 3 hours long? Like...
It was at least 2 hours.
It was a long-ass time, and I just remember laying there on my couch just like, oh my god. What is going on?
So yeah, that was the way to kick it off. It was just... I honestly, the first hour just felt like the same game for me. It was just a sci-fi horror.
Wars.
Yeah, space horror.
Yeah, like, no thank you. Like, Ethan was just having a field day, but...
Yes.
No thank you.
No. That wasn't quite our thing. So were there any games of interest to you at the Summer Game Fest, or were there some of the later shows that had games that you're either looking forward to coming out or hearing more about?
Out of all the games at Summer Game Fest itself, I really don't recall, like, there being anything new, I should say, that I was like, oh my god, that looks amazing. Like, they played a trailer for Gotham Knights. I'll probably end up getting that because I really like the Arkham series. This one still hasn't really turned me on, like, at all.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a bunch of things about it where, like, obviously it's the same people who made it, but, like, they changed the characters', like, appearances and all sorts of things from, like, the actual Arkham series, but they're supposed to be the same people. Like, but so I'm just like, I don't know. Like, it covers the Court of Owls storyline, which is such a good storyline. They're doing it without Batman, but he's not particularly important to, like, the origin of the Court of Owls, so that's fine. So we'll see. I don't know. But everything else at Summer Game Fest itself, I was just kind of like, eh.
Well, we did get a release date for Marvel's Midnight Suns there, and they gave us a little bit of tease.
Oh yeah,
yes.
Was that at Summer Game Fest?
I believe, yeah, that's what it's my notes. I believe it was actually on that show.
Okay, well, never mind.
The only thing you like.
Midnight Suns. Yes, I've already have it pre-ordered, and, like, I'm ready to go on that one. I've watched, like, 25 YouTube videos, I think, on that game since the release date and stuff got aired. So I'm pretty pumped about that one.
Yeah, well, it'll definitely be here, I think, before we know it. October 7th is that release date, and I'm still intrigued by it. I haven't jumped on pre-ordering it, but I definitely am looking forward to just checking out more videos, hearing more news about that game. It definitely looks interesting. Definitely like that vibe.
I'm going for, like, the Legendary Edition thingy, which is, like, I don't know, it's like $100 or some nonsense like that. But it comes with, like, 23 character skins.
Wow.
And the season pass too, but 23 skins for characters, and I was like, oh god, okay, fine, whatever.
That's tempting. It's fun to always change up the characters.
I was fine until like season pass, you can just get that whenever you want it, but the 23 like exclusive character skins, I was like, okay, well, are they exclusive? They might be like still unlockable in the game at some point. I don't remember.
But at least you'll have them then, as soon as you get the game. Yeah. You'll have them all. Yeah, I think there was one other game that at least I took notice of. I don't know anything about it except its little trailer it showed. It was called High Water. I was like, it's a sunny looking apocalypse game. I'm very curious. So I was like, normally a lot of apocalypse post-apocalyptic games have that really darker, grungy vibe to it. This one just had really nice, simple artwork, and it was sunny. It was bright. You could see what was going on. And I was just like, I'm looking forward to hearing more about this game. You've caught my interest. So
I don't recall that one. I might have to go look at the trailer again for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was just a fun, really short little one in between all the horror games and whatever else was shown.
Gross.
Well, I mean, that was only just the little highlights from Summer Game Fest. I mean, there were plenty of other shows all, like, even after the Summer Game Fest. There was the Day of the Devs, and then you had some throughout the weekend. You had the Xbox Bethesda Showcase. Were there any other games that time, or even games since those showcases that have been announced or we've seen more of?
I think besides the Sony, the Xbox Bethesda, the Summer Game Fest, and the Capcom, I don't think I watched any of like the smaller developer ones. And like out of the Capcom one, and unless you like Monster Hunter or Resident Evil, there wasn't really a lot there for you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the stuff that they announced and talked about, like, is really good stuff. Like all the remake of Resident Evil 4 and all the stuff coming to all of those games and stuff. Like, that's good stuff for the people who like those games.
Yeah.
But those are not for me games. So I didn't care for their presentation so much. It didn't have anything for Wade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, are there any games, any other games that were announced at all? Any games that you're like, is your most anticipated game, or is it just Midnight Suns at this point?
Well, there's Bethesda finally got around to talking a lot about Starfield.
Yes.
Which was a big deal. We've been waiting for that for forever.
Mm-hmm.
And it was good to see so much on it. It even like filled me with a little bit of anxiety. Like, because the game just looks so big.
Mm-hmm. How many planets is it supposed to be?
1,000.
I think that's right. That's crazy.
1,000. Like, there's over 100 like systems. I think between all the 100 whatever systems, there's like 1,000 planets that you can explore, which is just wow. So in these kinds of games, it's really easy just to be aimless. Which is kind of the point, like, if you're all about that. But, like, I remember when I first started playing Skyrim, like, I needed a direction first. Mm-hmm. And as I became more familiar and intimate with the game's systems and how everything works, then I would start just kind of going off on my own. But Starfield, I don't know, like, I'm excited for it. But damn. It's gonna take a lot of time, and that's supposed to come out like in the spring or something like that.
Yeah.
Ooh, well, I might have to wait till summer to play that. That's not a end of the school year game, I don't think.
Well, that's a rest of your life game. Yeah, I was glad to see more of Starfield. I've been really curious about that game ever since it's been announced, and even though I don't have an Xbox, doesn't mean that I'm not interested in games coming out on Xbox and everything, and it's not enough to sway me to get an Xbox, but I will be anxiously awaiting more information about that game. And,
there you
go. I hope that everybody enjoys it as much as they possibly can when it comes out.
Indeed.
Yes. Well, one of the games that I was really excited about, it was at they showcased it at the Day of the Devs. So, a lot of people watched Summer Game Fest, probably were tired after that, probably didn't watch the Day of the Devs stuff.
Called it a day after that.
Yeah. But it was pretty fun. One of the things that really caught my attention was a game called Escape Academy by Coin Crew Games. And it was basically like they used to create escape rooms and stuff before the pandemic. And then they were looking at ways to make, put their escape room ideas into a game. I love escape rooms, and the fact that you have people trying to, incorporate it into a video game sold me. I was just so excited watching the whole thing. And so I'm just really excited for that game when it comes out. I think it's coming out on all systems, which is great. And actually, I think it's coming out. I think it's I had the date. It's July 14th, so it'll be here really fast. And you can play it single player or co-op. I'm very curious to see how the co-op works.
For real.
Yeah. Because I could just
we might have to give that a try together. That sounds like a lot of fun.
I think it's fun. And also it's called Escape Academy because it takes place like at like a school, or to see if you could be like the escape master or something. So there's different levels you can go through in different rooms. I just love this. I'm so excited.
Do you have any other games that you were kind of looking into?
We saw a little bit of a tease for Chia. That's the game that...
Oh.
Yes.
The one that she can, like, turn into stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Like, inhabit things? Oh, yeah, that's right. That looks so good.
Mm-hmm. So they did a little bit of that I think it was at the Epic Games Summer Showcase. And that game is now going to be released in the spring of 2023. So they're wanting to spend more time on development and everything. And so
a game like that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
It's so broad. It's so...
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And then, just the developers, they're just putting so much of their love into their... I mean, that's the game where you could play the ukulele. So, yeah, there's definitely a lot of attention to detail they're putting in that game.
Go figure, but I want to do that.
I mean, how could you not?
Right?
Yeah. I did watch so many of the showcases. Honestly, Flight Simulator, that trailer they showed at the Xbox Bethesda Showcase, that was amazing.
That trailer was really good.
Yes. I was like, I am so excited for this game that I've never even played, or but it's been around forever.
Right?
It looks so beautiful.
I think I would just joyride stuff, but I would always find stuff to crash into. I don't think I'd be very responsible with that game. If Roller Coaster Tycoon has anything to say about it.
Any other games of note?
I think this one was back in the Sony one, I think, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
That game called Eternites.
Oh, yes.
That silly, weird as hell anime sci-fi action dating sim.
Mm-hmm.
At first, so, watching the trailer go, we were sitting there just okay, so, your typical weird anime... kind of messed up Evangelion looking game. This, it looks appealing to some degree. There's just a lot of what the heck going on. But then they're oh yeah, it's a dating sim too. And I was like, you know what? Okay.
You're I want to see more.
You may continue. I don't, if it's a $60 game, probably not.
Mm-hmm.
I'll wait till it's $20 someday on the PlayStation Store. But maybe. It depends how silly I'm feeling when they announce the release date. We'll just have to see.
Yes. Oh, another game that I did remember seeing a trailer for. So during the Future Game Show, which was that Saturday after the Summer Game Fest, they had a whole segment about game developers in Ukraine. And one of the games that they showcased was called The Rain Will Never End. It just looks so interesting. It was basically a noir cat detective point and click game.
There's a lot of cat games coming out.
Yes, there's lots of just really cute animals and just fun animals doing all kinds of things in games, but it just looked really interesting, and I like the style of that, and I think that might be just coming to PC, but it would definitely be cool to follow that progress.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
We'll have to see on that.
Yeah.
Well, did you have any games you felt were missing from Gamer Christmas this June?
Yes. Yes, there were definitely a few. I think the obvious one, I'll just come out and say it. We got
for it.
Yep. I mean, Hogwarts Legacy. Come on, I've been talking about that game. I feel for years now. It's just, even though we got a little bit more of it this year. Yes,
we need it.
We need that release date. Please give that release date.
You know how starved I am for content on this game? I saw a damn video and watched the video contently. Wow. Of robe mechanics.
Yes.
Look how well your robe shifts and moves around as you're being a badass. I watched that because I was I need to know more. Because they won't give me more.
Yeah, they even posted that video recently about there's a bug. And I just kept watching that video over and over again. They're we're working through bugs in our game, and they had like one of the characters like flying through the air and getting stuck in the wall, and I'm just like,
oh,
I like seeing this part
really
of this
cool
area.
that they're posting that though.
Yeah.
Usually you don't get to see all the cool bugs that they have to fix.
No, I know. And some people were like, keep that in the game as
Keep
an
that
extra
one in
content. Yes.
It's a new ability.
Yeah, so that was definitely an obvious game for me. That there was another game that did come to mind and we did not see anything about and we haven't heard about since it was first teased, which was the Indiana Jones game. It's I think it's an Xbox game.
Keep forgetting about that game, which adds to your point. But I keep forgetting about it.
Yeah, I was like, I'm really curious. I want to check out, I want a cool adventure game that's with Indiana Jones. I'd like to, hear something soon.
Maybe. I was trying to think of games that, like, we're missing. And since we got our, like, re-reveal of Final Fantasy 16, like, I'm so content in the missing game category. Like, there's nothing else in my life right now. It's just 16 all the time. And so this one's kind of low-hanging fruit, but mostly because, like, we haven't had, like, a proper Nintendo Direct this summer. They did a 20-minute, half-hour one. I think it was, like, Thursday, but it was specifically only for Xenoblade Chronicles 3, I watched it with no intention of buying it. I was like, I'll just watch the Direct. Why not? But, like, it looks really good. I've never played the second one. And I can't get through the first half of the first one because it's big. It's just a huge-ass game. It's a lot. It's one of those big, giant, adventuring JRPGs where you're just going to get lost and never come back to it. But 3 looks really good. But anyway, we haven't heard anything on Breath of the Wild 2 in a while. Which, it's Nintendo. When they want to talk about it, they will talk about it because that's just how Nintendo does things. But, Sonic Frontiers was talked a lot about. I forgot about that.
That's right.
Did you watch any of the... They had... Between, like, the Sonic people and IGN, they, like, kept, like, announcing and dropping, like, new videos throughout, like, a whole week. It was such a mess. Actually, they both planned different things for the same day at the same time. So people were like, well, you go watch this one and I'll go watch this one. I guess it was very sloppy, but unfortunately it's Sega and IGN. So go figure, I guess. But that one's looking pretty good. Like, it's got a bit to go, I think, still. Because it's like an open world Sonic game.
Yeah.
But I'll just wait and see. We'll just have to see.
I haven't watched any of the newest stuff related to that game, but I remember when they announced it, or at least showed more footage of that game a couple months ago. Sonic's a cool character, so it's cool to see in more games.
Yeah, they want this to, like, they want this game to be big in the way that, like, the Sonic Adventure games were, like, back on, like, the Dreamcast and the GameCube and stuff like that, which is that's quite a lot to ask for. But, like, I think the fans would also like it to be that big because they haven't had games that came anywhere close, like, in a long time. So.
Oh, and another game, I can't forget about it. God of War Ragnarok. We need a release date.
We should have had a damn milk carton for that one. Good God.
Maybe we'll have another state of play soon. Maybe the next month or two. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I think they'll have a first party one sometime this summer. I think. I hope so.
Yes.
We'll see. I don't know.
We'll just hold on to hope.
We will. That's all we can
want more
do
game
at this
news.
point.
Give it to us.
Oh, well, this is kind of off subject, but always on subject here on Podcast Demastered.
Yes.
I heard you got a really cool birthday present last week.
Oh, yes, I did.
Why don't you talk? We'll take a quick detour. Why don't you talk about that?
Well, I finally got this game that I've been wanting to play ever since it was released earlier this year. It is Horizon Forbidden West. Oh man, that game, honestly, I haven't spent as much time as I would like playing that game. I haven't had the time, but what I've played so far, I'm like, this game is going to take me absolutely forever to get through. I just love the world of those games, and I just love just exploring, and like it's crazy like noticing like the slight improvements they've made and just how pretty that game is. I mean, I'm just playing it on the PS4 too, but I still think it looks great. And
like watching it on YouTube and stuff, I'm just like, oh, I want to play it just to like wander and probably get brutally murdered, but like wander.
Yeah, and that's all I've been doing. I've just been like staring slowly at everything in my surroundings, and I'm like, oh, I haven't even gotten through the story. I barely have gotten through the beginning because I'm just enjoying it.
These pixels are just too beautiful.
Yeah, and I just love the like trying to guess what the areas that they're going through used to be, or what like during the time period. I'm like, oh, that's so cool that that's what it actually is, and just reading and listening to all the history about the world. The lore is like the thing that I love the most about these games. Like the gameplay, like it's fine, whatever. But it's the lore. I could just watch the cutscenes all day, just because it's so good, and the music. Oh yes,
the music with the cutscenes.
I mean, this game just has a lot of great things to offer. It's just, and then now you can go underwater, and oh no, I'm completely.
Oh, I bet that's amazing.
Yes. It's just another thing to just really, I'm going to take forever playing this game. And here I am thinking I was going to play quite a few more games this year. Maybe if I just get through this game.
Maybe if Hogwarts Legacy comes out this year.
Yes. Maybe. Well, for now, I will just enjoy and take my time with Forbidden West until I get that release date. And then maybe we'll see where we're at in this game.
There you go.
I also did get another game, but I haven't started yet because I got Forbidden West first.
What is it?
So I got Disco Elysium.
Oh, yeah. I've never played it, but I've heard those two words put together many, many times.
Yes. I had been reading about stuff for a while, and I was just like, this game sounds really interesting. I like this, like, kind of play as the character you want to play as with this whole, like, detective mystery type vibe. So I'm looking forward to that. That'll probably be my next game, for sure.
There you go. Did I tell you that I had started Mass Effect 2?
Yes, I think you did briefly mention it. So
it's been a little bit. It's been like a week and a half maybe. And I'm not that far. I haven't even put together the full team yet. But just the few hours that I've played so far, like the improvements from the first game are just obvious.
Yeah.
Like wow, appreciated upgrades. Like, I don't have to, like, go through my inventory every 3 seconds to make sure my characters have the best equipment on. That's terrific. Thank you so much. But, like, but the Paragon system, though, like, you don't always know, like, when you get points, like, added, you know? And so I'm, like, checking constantly, like, has it gone up? Like, has it gone up? Oh, God. And, like, I've been following a guide for, the first one, and all the rest of them. I'm following not the same guide. Like, I had to switch to a new guide for this one. And the first one was like, make sure that, like, if you want Paragon points, make sure you're doing this, and if you want Renegade points, make sure you're doing this. But this one is not. Like, at the end of a whole paragraph, like a whole segment of the game, they're like, there's chances for points, so make sure that you're watching. And it's like, what? Like, no, I just did that like 10 minutes ago. You should have put that way up here in the paragraph. And I'm following a guide because I don't want to play the game 10 times. Which, you know, it is what it is. It's fine. Maybe I should just need to find a new guide. I don't know.
That's possible.
Before I get too deep into it.
Well, are you enjoying this story so far? Or
so far. So I didn't expect to, like, die at the beginning of the second game, and then to come back to life working for the guy. I was like this game has been out for like 10 years 10 plus years, and I hadn't heard of like this major plot twist. That's impressive. Like, good for the internet for not spoiling it for me, but I was legit like, oh, okay. So getting like the Cerberus side of the story is quite interesting, so I appreciate that.
Yep. This definitely is a crazy game. Yeah. It starts off with a bang and just continues.
Yeah, that's an understatement.
Well, I hope you continue to enjoy it. And
oh, I'm sure I will.
Yes.
Sure I will. Okay, should we get back on track here?
Yes. I think we'll get back.
Totally just moved us around there.
think we're just gonna, kind of wrap up our game conversation by just kind of doing an overall or what we think was the best and the worst showcase that we have seen in the past month.
Oh yes. Do you want to start with best or worst?
Let's start with worst. Let's just get that out of the way.
Oh, that's easy.
End on a high note.
Do we have the same one?
I mean, yeah, probably. I did watch another one though that was almost comparable. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let's do our worst together, and then you can have an honorable mention.
Okay.
Okay. So, was your worst also the Summer Game Fest?
Yes. Yes.
For real.
Such a disappointment.
Why was it our worst?
It was way too long. I swear it was the first hour. I am still convinced was the exact same game.
And there's so many commercials, advertisements.
Yes. And I like The Rock, but I'm pretty sure that was the show where we had that really cringy fake ad or something with The Rock for Black Adam in it. And it was the trailer that was just released on the internet 2 days before.
Yeah. Not the time and place for that.
No.
I wonder if that was Jeffrey's idea or not.
I think they were wanting to just get a lot of hype behind that movie.
Are you feeling any hype behind that movie?
Not really.
Same. Same. I like The Rock, but I never once, since they've announced that they might even be doing a Black Adam movie, have I been like, well, that sounds cool.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care for the Black Adam as I don't want to say a hero, and he's a villain, but he's not, he's like Namor from Marvel, where he'll do awful things, but he has a really good reason for doing those awful things, and it's almost always in the name of just protecting his own country.
Mm.
But he's kind of a dick, so he's not a likable person. He's just a king, so I don't know. Meh.
Yeah, nothing really exciting really came from that showcase. It was also just super hyped up overall, and ended up just being the summer snooze fest.
I think I actually fell asleep a couple times, so yeah, I get that.
You. Yeah.
I get that. Especially after that first hour of straight up horror space games, so
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was not feeling that. Well, what was your honorable mention?
It's just I watched a lot of the smaller ones that followed it, and there was one called, I guess I just didn't know what to expect, and it was just overall kind of cringy for me. I don't really enjoy it when hosts try to be super hilarious and then they're not. It was called the Guerrilla Collective Showcase.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing was very memorable from it, so it just kind of fell flat for me. And it was very long.
Always
I think all these showcases were 2 hours long.
Oh my god. Even the smaller ones were?
Yes.
Oh, jeez Louise.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay,
yeah.
Well, what was your best? What was your favorite showcase?
Now, this was a smaller showcase that I really enjoyed, but it was just a feel-good time. It was the Wholesome Games Direct. I loved that the hosts were fun. They were just so supportive of everyone. They had just so many cute and legitimately wholesome games. It was a showcase where I felt good the whole time watching it. It put a smile on my face compared to some of these where it's just dread, horror, or I'm bored or something, But this just had a lot of cute little animal games. There was this one called Lumberjack or whatever, and it was a super cute little bear who was fighting against the humans, trying to protect the environment. It was just really fun and adorable.
I mean, as if for being a wholesome kind of direct, good. I'm glad it reached the right audience on that.
Yes. Mm-hmm. It did. It worked for me.
Aw. Is that where they showed was it Chia? Was Chia at that one?
Oh, that's a good question. I am totally blanking out if Chia actually was in that show or not. I think, but it definitely was at least along those same vibes of games like that.
Oh, I can't wait to play that one.
I know.
I just want to sit there on the stoop all day and just play ukulele.
Mm-hmm. And then turn into a coconut.
And turn into a coconut.
Yes.
You got it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my favorite one, out of all the ones, I had to think kind of hard because, this one, not that it was, amazing and overall from past experiences, it was just so terrific, but it had Final Fantasy 16 in it, so my favorite one is the Sony one, because they showed a lot of stuff. They showed some mess stuff, but, the Xbox One had Starfield,
Yeah.
You know, but they had a lot of stuff also that I was just like, eh. But the Sony one was shorter, was not 2 hours long, and had it had Final Fantasy 16.
Had your most anticipated game.
Yes, it had the only thing I needed. So
Yes.
I'm gonna give it to them this year.
All right. Clear winner there. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So many games, so much game talk. Well, I think that'll probably do it for our episode all about so many games.
Well, and with any luck, in the next month or two, maybe we'll have a little bit more to talk about.
Yes. And maybe for those who are tired of hearing about games, maybe we'll talk about something different soon too. So don't worry.
Oh, yeah, we've got some surprises up our sleeves coming.
Yes.
So.
Yep. So everybody be on the lookout for those episodes. But yeah, as I said, I think that'll do it for this week's episode. Thanks everybody for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe wherever you listen to this podcast. You know, share it with a friend. Also, please leave us a review. 5 stars would be cool. And also, you can follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at poddemastered. You can also send us an email at demasteredpodcast@gmail.com. And, feel free. We check our social media and the email often. So if you have any requests or anything that you want us to talk about in a future episode, please send those things to us and we'll check them out. And be sure, our schedule has changed so that we're every other week, released on Tuesday. So be sure to check out for all new episodes every other Tuesday. Thanks again for listening. See ya.
See ya.